December 17, 1900, The Evening Argus, Owasso, Michigan. The Christmas Wishbone. The wishbone of the Christmas turkey is a favorite means of divination in Virginia, where it is called the fortune bone. Two unmarried persons, each taking hold of one end of the bone, pull against each other until the bone breaks. The one who gets the shorter end will be the first of the two to marry. Further divination is by placing the short end of the bone over the door. The first unmarried person of the opposite sex who walks under the bone is supposed to be the future wife or husband of the person to whom the bone belongs. December 25, 1913. The Stansted Journal, Rock Island, Stansted, PQ, Canada. Some odd things about Christmas. In Greece, the Kalkanzori are generally represented as mere tricky sprites who live, as a rule, underground, appearing to men only on the nights of the year between December 25 and January 6. They pass the days during this period in dark caverns, where they subsist on serpents and lizards and come forth to dance in the moonlight, either alone or in company with the Nereids, and also with mortal women, if they can lure any to join them. Indians say the best time to catch a deer is on Christmas night at 12 o'clock, when they believe the deer kneels. Romanian girls can learn, during the Christmas season, whether or not they are going to be married within the coming year. At midnight, they enter the stable and strike the foot of the first ox they come across, saying, "This year, next year." If the ox gets up at the first stroke, the girl will marry within the year. If it gets up at the second stroke, her marriage will take place the following year. If it does not get up at all, the gods have not yet decided on her wedding date. In many countries where they go by the old calendar, Christmas is celebrated January 6th, the celebration beginning 12 days before. Cakes weighing from 1 to 12 pounds are made in Friedrichstadt. They place them in exalted position and play to them, representing, as they say they do, St. Nicholas. Of rye bread they make a boar or hog 6 or 7 inches high, with gilt snout and tail, with gold rings around its knees. The businessmen put goods they have exhibited for sale on a revolving disc and raffle them off. Klinge East, Kind Jesus or Child Jesus, presides over all Christmas celebrations in Schleswig-Holstein. He is supposed to bring presents to the children and sometimes punishes naughty ones. On Christmas Day in Ditmarsh, the cattle get an extra allowance of fodder. The cats and dogs, too, get better meals. At times, the cattle are admitted to the higher joys to the extent that a candle is placed above the trough from which they feed, just as each member of the family has his own candle made by himself. These candles must be heavy and big, for the one that goes out first will die first. Some of the Germans believe that those born on Christmas Day have the power of seeing spirits and even of commanding them. The after-dinner dishes must not be washed at once. They must be left until 10 minutes before midnight, when the young folks take them outside to a well and wash them, for in the water they can, at midnight, see the faces of their future lovers and sweethearts. Oxen kneel in the stall at midnight on Christmas, says English tradition. They kneel as if in adoration of the Nativity. When Christmas draws near, every French family in easy circumstances sends for a cask of wine, inlays, and a stock of southern fruit. Those who have been enemies pardon each other, marriages are fixed, married pairs who have been separated are reunited. A popular saying in Spain for Christmas Day is, "The bird of dawning singeth all night long, to frighten away all evil things." Christmas celebrations in Mexico begin December 17 and continue until December 24. Each night a festival is held, 9 in all, an invitation being sent out to those posadas. Posada means inn, typifying the day the holy travelers, Joseph and Mary, sought in vain for rest and shelter. The young Armenians on Christmas Day pay hand-kissing visits to their elders. To learn the qualities of her future husband, the Romanian girl, on Christmas Eve, partially disrobes, loosens her hair, bandages her eyes, and, braving the cold, goes into the courtyard, where she commences to count the stakes in the hedge. When she reaches the 9th one, she binds it with ribbon, or with threads of hair, and re-enters the house. The next day, she examines the stake. If it is upright and sound, her husband will be young, strong, and handsome. If bent, her husband will be old and ugly. Christmas seems to have been first observed between 180 and 190 AD. The custom of making gifts at Christmas is widest spread in Germany, where even casual acquaintances express their regard for each other by making small presents. Old Christmas fare did not include the turkey, now the modern Christmas bird. In the olden days, a roasted peacock took its place on the festive board. December 16, 1926. The Montreal Gazette, Montreal, Canada. Christmas cards. The Christmas card this year celebrates its 80th birthday. It now belongs to all men and women. It finds its way to all places and serves many ends. He is a lone creature who does not get his share of cards at Christmas time. What would Christmas Day be without the Christmas card? Francis D. McMullen is authority for the statement that the Christmas card is now 80 years old. Writing in the New York Times Magazine, she says that origins of all other Christmas customs, except this, are lost in the undated annals of folk ways, and many of them are older than Christmas itself. The birthday of the Christmas card has been definitely set in the year 1846, and no shades from the past have arisen to counter the claim. England was its cradle, and Sir Henry Cole, who later came to fame as a social and educational reformer, was its father. Already he had set about effecting the application of fine art to manufactures, and had gained a name as a pioneer in illustrating children's books with woodcuts after famous pictures. When he got the idea of issuing cards carrying Christmas wishes, he went to a member of the Royal Academy, J.C. Horsley, for his design, and had the card lithographed and hand-colored in London. 1,000 copies were printed under his nom de plume, Felix Summerlee. Varied ancestry may be found for the Christmas card. There were clover cards and illustrated notepaper, and in Germany, the illuminated cards sent on Namenstag, the feast of one's patron saint. In 1844, a man of Leith had issued a card bearing a laughing face and "A Good New Year to you," but as this had practically no circulation, it is thought that Sir Henry's idea might have come rather from the Christmas pieces written by schoolboys on paper decorated with flourishes and scrolls. Leafy trellises in Germanesque style divided the first Christmas card into 3 panels, the smaller side panels showing 2 of the acts of charity, feeding the hungry and clothing the naked, and the larger central panel, 3 generations of a family party quaffing wine at the festive board. "A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you" was its legend. It was a lavish bit of work, but no end of criticism was its lot, and it languished. No more was heard of Christmas cards until, in the early 60s, ornamented notepaper and envelopes for the holiday trade appeared in stationers' shops, and soon their designs were stamped in relief in the center of a card, with colored or embossed edges decorated by stencil or by hand. America, where the Christmas card has taken such hold on the public, followed England's lead only slowly. At the Vienna Exposition of 1873, the flowered business cards of Louis Prang, a Boston lithographer, attracted so much attention that a woman in his London agency suggested putting a greeting in place of the firm name and issuing them as Christmas cards. This was done the following year. Then the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia, 2 years later, disseminated the Christmas card idea. Like dress and interior decoration, Christmas cards have had a history of change and revival in design in the merry-go-round search for novelty. Tinsel appears to have gone, and with it the seaweed, dried flowers, chenille, crewel work, and gelatin that decorated the Christmas cards of generations gone. But breathe not too easily. They have gone out of style and come back before. There was a period, now also happily past, when the thing was to be funny in Christmas greetings, and baggage labels, pork soles, cigar butts, extracted teeth, razors, and hairpins were reproduced to illustrate puns and Christmas wishes. But apparently this period is not utterly gone, for in this year 1926, a card may be found bearing facsimiles of a holly branch and a cat, wishing Christmas to be the berries and the cat's whiskers for the new year. Golfers and polo matches on this year's cards are not new ideas, since swimming, boating, cricket, and tennis appeared on English cards 30-odd years ago. Holly, mistletoe, robins, and plum pudding have been associated with Christmas cards from the first. Early Christmas cards carried an abundance of medieval pleasantries, traceable, it is thought, to the Gothic leaning in decorative art ideals of the day. Toward the end of the 19th century, the Rococo style, to be seen in every English furniture shop, was also reflected on greeting cards. American cards of about 1911 bore evidences of the recently celebrated Dickens centennial, and more lately, with the general swing to Americana, Christmas card designing has gone in for antiques, hoop skirts, muffs and bonnets, sleighing parties, and husking bees. This year, many a remembered friend will find Christmas ships sailing in by the fleet, since the ship model is everywhere asserting itself. The Christmas card enjoyed a golden age of art in the decade from 1878 to 1888, but toward the latter part of the century, cheap cards of German make brought frosted surfaces and fringed edges to the market, captivating the popular eye. A special plea for the Christmas card is now finding voice, calling the best artists in black and white and color prints to bring their talent to the rescue of those who seek relief from hackneyed Christmas card themes.